We mean nothing to you, do we? Brittany, my sister-in-law, wailed dramatically when I flat out refused to host the family gathering yet again. God, you're so cold, Ethan, my husband, hissed. I smiled, unfazed, my gaze steady on them. Trust me, I care deeply. Then I hit play. Their expressions shattered like glass as their own voices filled the room. For 10 grueling years, I was the default for every in-law family event. Christmas, Thanksgiving, birthdays, even random Sunday dinners. If there was an occasion, my house automatically became the venue. No one asked me. Everyone simply expected it. At first, I didn't mind. In fact, I genuinely enjoyed cooking, decorating, and making things special. It made me feel warm to have family gathered, laughing, and enjoying the meals I'd spent hours preparing. It gave me a sense of being loved, of being an important part of the family. But over time, things changed. The appreciation vanished. The thank yous stopped. Instead of grateful guests, my in-laws acted like entitled patrons. Eleanor, my mother-in-law, always had something to criticize, no matter how small. You didn't use heavy cream? She'd wrinkle her nose at my mashed potatoes. Well, this is different, isn't it? Brittany, my sister-in-law, always treated my food like a punishment. Oh, all right, I guess I'll pretend to like it, she'd sigh dramatically. Marcus, my brother-in-law, would just show up with random friends without asking first, assuming I had nothing better to do than cook for his entire posse. And my husband, Ethan, he never once stood up for me. He'd just mumble, "You know how they are." Just let it go, so I let it go. I put up with it. I did it. Until I couldn't anymore. Last Christmas, I poured my entire soul into it. I spent days shopping, prepping, and cooking. The menu was planned down to the last detail. Homemade bread, a perfectly roasted turkey with crispy skin, sides made from scratch, and a plethora of delectable desserts. The house was spotless, not a speck of dust. The Christmas tree was decorated like something out of a magazine, glistening with lights and elaborate ornaments. I even bought extra beautiful serving dishes to make everything look perfect. They arrived late. Not a single thank you as they walked through the door. Not a single, "Oh, everything looks wonderful," nothing. Instead, Eleanor wrinkled her nose at the mashed potatoes. You didn't use heavy cream? Well, this is different. Brittany sighed dramatically. Oh, all right, I guess we'll pretend to like it. Marcus walked in with 2 of his random friends. No heads up, no asking. Just a casual, "Hope you made enough food." And the worst part? Ethan, my husband, just stood there. Not a word, not a single, "Hey, don't be rude," just a weak, complicit chuckle. I was done. I had reached my breaking point. But the moment that truly made me snap was when Heather walked into my kitchen, opened my refrigerator, pulled out a store-bought pumpkin pie, and loudly announced, "Oh, well, at least this will be good." Eleanor chuckled. Marcus laughed. Even Ethan smiled. I stood there, my heart pounding, my hands shaking, while they acted like this was perfectly normal. And then I made a decision. I turned off the oven, untied my apron, walked to the Christmas tree, and unplugged it. Silence fell over the room. Brittany blinked. "What are you doing?" I turned to Ethan. "I'm done. I'm never hosting again." Never. His face fell almost in satisfaction. Almost. The fake tears began immediately. Brittany's eyes welled up. "I guess you just don't care about this family anymore." Eleanor gasped as if I'd just slapped her. "How can you say that?" Marcus muttered. "Geez, it was just a joke." "Don't be so sensitive. And Ethan, oh Ethan." He glared at me, his eyes filled with contempt. "How can you be so cold?" he asked. I almost laughed in his face. After years of them treating me like a free caterer and maid service, I was the bad guy now? That's when I remembered something. You see, I have a habit of filming myself when I cook. It's a hobby. I like documenting recipes, talking through the process, sometimes even posting little videos online. And guess what? That day, I had recorded everything. Every insult. Every negative comment. Every outrageous request. Every demand. I pulled out my phone and smiled. "Oh, I care deeply," I said. "That's why I recorded it all." Then I hit play. Oh, their faces! Their own voices filled the room. Brittany with her smug tone. "Oh, well, at least this will be good." Eleanor with her familiar condescending voice. "You didn't use heavy cream?" Marcus with his chuckle. "Hope you made enough food." And Ethan with genuine disgust in his voice when he asked me, "How can you be so cold?" Silence. Brittany's tears dried instantly. Eleanor's lips thinned into a hard line. Marcus looked anywhere but at me. And Ethan, he looked ashamed. Good. I put my phone away. "So," I said, "still think I'm cold?" No one answered. I walked to my coat, grabbed it, and turned to Ethan. "Dinner's in the fridge." "Help yourself." Then I walked out the door. The texts started that very night. "Ethan, you really embarrassed us." "Brittany, I don't understand why you had to make such a scene." "Eleanor, we need to talk." I ignored them all. I went 3 months without hosting, without cooking, without even answering their guilt-tripping texts. If they wanted family gatherings, they could figure it out themselves. And Ethan, oh, he learned very quickly what it felt like to be on the receiving end. Because when Easter rolled around, he tried to host once. Just once. Eleanor complained the food wasn't made with love. Brittany criticized his cooking. Marcus showed up an hour late with even more uninvited guests. And Ethan, he looked miserable. That's when he finally understood. That's when he crawled back to me. And that's when I decided exactly how I was going to end this. For the first time in years, I felt free. No more planning, no more stress, no more arranging tables or worrying if there were enough seats. And guess what? They survived. They still had their little gatherings, just without me. At first, they acted like everything was fine. They took turns hosting, each one pretending nothing was amiss. But I knew better. I could feel the cracks forming in their perfect family facade. And then the first explosion happened. It was Brittany. One night, Ethan came home looking like he'd seen a ghost. I was on the sofa reading when he slumped into the armchair opposite, rubbing his face. "What's wrong?" I asked. Not genuinely concerned, but I knew he'd tell me anyway. He let out a long sigh. "Brittany lost it at dinner tonight." I raised an eyebrow. "How so?" He shook his head. "She hosted. She made spaghetti." Simple, right? Well, Mom said the sauce was too sweet. Marcus said the pasta was overcooked. And then Brittany just snapped. I waited. She threw the whole pot of sauce into the sink and told everyone to get out. I had to bite my lip to keep from laughing out loud. Oh, how the mighty fall so quickly. But it didn't stop there. A few weeks later, it was Eleanor's turn to host. She loved acting like she was the perfect hostess, always finding ways to subtly needle me when I hosted. This time she crashed and burned. Apparently, she forgot to take the ham out of the oven on time and it came out dry and hard. Brittany wrinkled her nose and said, "At least this will be good," a sarcastic echo of her own past comment. Eleanor burst into tears. Marcus, trying to help, chuckled and said, "Well, now you know how we feel when Rosie, meaning me, cooks." Silence fell around at the table. Brittany glared at him. Eleanor stormed off. Ethan sat there watching his family unravel. All because I had simply withdrawn. The family group chat went silent after that. Then out of nowhere, Eleanor contacted me. 3 months had passed since I'd stopped hosting. I received a text. "We need to talk." "Can we meet for lunch?" I stared at the phone. My gut told me it was a trap, but curiosity won out, so I agreed. We met at a small cafe. She was already there when I arrived, sipping tea, her fingernails tapping on the cup. "Thank you for coming," she said, her voice overly sweet. I kept my tone neutral. Then she cut straight to the chase. "I was thinking perhaps you could host Christmas again this year." "I know you needed a break, but you've had your time, haven't you?" I almost laughed in her face. She looked at me with feigned sincerity, as if she were bestowing a great honor upon me, as if she weren't the same person who had made my life a living hell for 10 years. I put my coffee cup down. "No?" Her smile froze. "No." I saw something flicker in her eyes. Something ugly. "Well," she said, tilting her head, "we're family, and family makes sacrifices." I held her gaze. "Oh, I've made more than enough sacrifices." I was the one cooking, cleaning, decorating, hosting, and then listening to everyone insult me. "I owe you nothing, Eleanor." Her lips thinned into a hard line. "I didn't mean it like that." "Yes, you did." For the first time in years, I saw it. The loss of control. The realization that I wasn't coming back to play the role she'd assigned me. She sighed, settling back in her chair. "Well," she said, looking down at her teacup, "that's a shame. The children always loved coming to your house." And there it was. The manipulation. I don't have kids, but my husband's siblings do, and I love my nieces and nephews, and she knew that. I exhaled slowly. "Are you really going to try that, Eleanor?" She didn't answer. She just sipped her tea, waiting for me to concede, waiting for me to feel guilty. But I didn't. I stood up, grabbed my bag, and said, "Have a Merry Christmas, Eleanor." And then I walked out. I could have ended it there, but Eleanor, she wasn't easily deterred. When Ethan came home that night, he looked ashen. I was on the sofa reading when he collapsed into the armchair opposite, rubbing his face. "What's wrong?" I asked. Not genuinely concerned, but I knew he'd tell me anyway. He let out a long sigh. "Mom called me, crying about how cruel you were to her." "Oh, of course." "And what did she say you did?" I asked. He hesitated. "She said you cut her off when she was trying to make amends." He paused. I stared at him. "And you believed that?" He didn't answer. That silence, that was everything. I pulled out my phone, opened the recording from lunch, and hit play. Eleanor's voice filled the living room. "That's a shame. The children always loved coming to your house." I watched his face fall as the recording continued. He heard every manipulative word, every feigned apology from his mother. I paused it. "So," I said, "still think I'm cruel?" He slowly sank into the chair. I didn't know it was like that." "Didn't know?" I said, my voice sharp. "No, you didn't want to know." For a moment, I thought this was it. The moment he'd finally stand up, call out his family, apologize, maybe even take my side for once. But then I saw it. That stubborn look on his face. The one that said he wasn't ready to let go. "Mom was just trying to talk to you," he mumbled. "Are you serious?" I asked, my voice rising. "That wasn't an apology, that was manipulation." He ran a hand through his hair. I don't know why you have to be so extreme." "It's family." And that was it. He wasn't on my side. Even with all the evidence, even after everything they put me through, he still wanted to protect them. A cold, sinking feeling settled in my chest. "Well," I said, "I think I just got my answer." The final straw came the very next weekend. I thought Eleanor had backed off. But I should have known better, because when I got home from running errands, her car was parked in my driveway and she wasn't alone. I walked in to find Brittany and Marcus sitting in my living room as if they owned the place. Ethan sat in the middle, looking like a deer in headlights. And Eleanor, she was holding a photo album, our wedding album, flipping through it as if watching a scene from a drama. "We just wanted to talk," she said, smiling as if she weren't the villain in this entire story. I put my bag down. You have 5 seconds to tell me why you're here before I throw all of you out. Brittany put on that fake distressed tone. We're family. We can't just go on like this. Go on like what? I asked. Me having boundaries? Eleanor sighed dramatically, closing the album. You're punishing us! I burst out laughing. Punishing you for what? For having to host your own damn holidays? Brittany's face contorted. It's not the same. The kids don't even like coming anymore. They miss your house. They miss your food. Let me make this simple for you, I said, crossing my arms. I'm done. For good. I will never host another family event for this family ever again. Brittany gasped as if I'd just announced I was going to burn down the house. No, she shrieked. No, I cut her off. Get out. Eleanor's face crumpled. Excuse me, I said. Get out. Ethan stood up quickly. Wait. Stop. No, you stop, I hissed, turning to him. You invited them here, didn't you? He hesitated. That half-second pause said it all. I felt something inside me break. You did, didn't you? I shook my head, my face filled with disappointment. Wow. I just thought if we all talked, we could… You thought you could gang up on me? I corrected him. His mouth opened and closed. He had no defense. That was it. That was the moment I knew it wasn't just about his family anymore. It was about him. He would never choose me. He would never defend me. He would never put me first. And I was tired of waiting for him to change. I want a divorce. The words tumbled out of my mouth before I could second-guess them. The room went silent. Brittany's jaw dropped. Marcus looked like he was watching a live execution. And Ethan, his face was ashen. Wait, what? His voice cracked. You don't mean that. I do. This is ridiculous, Eleanor hissed. I turned to her, calm and cold. You wanted me gone, Eleanor. Congratulations. You won. Then I looked at Ethan, his eyes wide with panic. You deserve better than this. I deserve better than you. His hands trembled. We can fix this. No, we can't. I walked to the front door and held it open. Everyone, get out! No one moved at first. Then Marcus, the quietest one, muttered, Holy shit! Grabbed his jacket and walked towards the door. Brittany looked like she wanted to scream. Eleanor opened her mouth to argue, but I didn't give her the chance. I just said no, and for the first time in her life, Eleanor had no control. She grabbed her bag and stormed out. Brittany followed, still sniffling. And Ethan, he just stood there watching me as if I was ripping his whole world apart. Maybe I was, but I didn't care. A month later, I filed for divorce. Ethan begged. He cried. He offered every excuse in the book, but it was too late. I moved out, got my own place, and for the first time in years, I felt free. Brittany tried to reach out. Eleanor sent me a letter, but I threw it away. Marcus, he just shrugged and said, Can't blame you. As for Ethan, he had to host Christmas that year, and from what I heard, it was a disaster. I spent a decade trying to be good enough for people who would never deserve me. Finally, I learned the most important lesson. Never set yourself on fire to keep others warm. I walked away from that family, that marriage, that whole toxic mess. And I've never regretted it. Have you ever had to cut out toxic family to protect what you love? Do you see yourself in this story? Leave a comment if you've ever said enough, and if you're still gathering the courage, borrow some of mine, because blood doesn't entitle anyone to break you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications for the Unscripted Drama channel for more powerful stories of independence, inner strength, and unexpected justice.